Hello again. Good
Hey,
evening. How you doing? See glass. Here you go.
thank you. Yeah, not a lot again.
I'm gonna need a little bit. You can't be drinking every night at this homeschool thing, girl.
No, exactly.
All right, tell me when.
That's it. That's it. That's
Okay.
it.
All right.
All right.
All right. Cheers. You did a good
Spill
job
the
today.
roll here.
All right. Okay. Welcome back to Happy Hour after homeschool, the
Yes.
coronavirus edition, with your parents, Brittany and Aaron. What's up, people? Another day in quarantine. Hope you're doing okay. We're here talking about our day.
Yeah.
Um,
So, today, I feel like our conversation this time will focus on how our kids just like process differently, and not only differently from each other, but differently than us, like totally different from us, and how sometimes that can create conflict in the whole, parent child learning situation.
Cause I look at the kids like they crazy. Like, you don't get that? Like, you. I mean, I already have that look. I give that look to my wife sometimes, but I do assume like that's like common sense. Like, why you ain't thinking that, or why didn't you figure that out?
But today I had a moment with our son Anthony. So we've been doing math stations because that allows us to, or allows me, because that's during my block of time when I have the kids. But it allows me to float between the three of them and give each of them individually what they need at each station. One station is a online math game. Another station is math manipulatives, where they're working with like either Legos or today was dominoes, and then another station is a math worksheet. So I had Anthony at the manipulative station and there was dominoes, and my question was to look at the pattern and try to figure out what goes next. And so at first, he was just like playing, he stacked the dominoes up and attempted to make them fall, and I was like, okay, goodness, we might need to just go back to the drawing board here. Because clearly you probably didn't even grasp my question. So maybe, again, like expectations, like last time we were talking about, maybe my expectations are too high. So then I kind of reframed my question and told him to look at the tops of the dominoes and count each one and look at the bottoms of the dominoes. And the dominoes were going in order. And so I said, so which one do you think should go next? And then he took the dominoes that were left over and then he started lining them up. And then so the mom in me was like, what in the world, child? If you don't just pick a domino and say an answer. Like, I was really starting to get frustrated on the inside. I didn't say anything. And then I was like, you know what? Just calm down. Let him process this however he's processing it, and even if he's wrong, let's just see what he does. So he lined up the rest of the dominoes and then started counting them, and he was like 1, 2, and then he looked at the one that he counted second and he was like, oh, it's this one, and he pulled it out, and I must have did a flip. I was like, oh my gosh, you actually got it. Like, yes, you understood. And in that moment, like after reflecting about it, I was like, wow, had I just jumped in really quickly and either like got on him or given him the answer, which is what we as parents tend to do too, and even teachers, we like that amount of time can be really stressful when like a kid is thinking and you're trying to figure out like, do you get it, do you not get it? You really want to like speak up and say something in that like think time moment.
What I think is that what I like to talk about is that moment. How do parents know, or how do teachers know that where that anxiety comes from, or where you don't know what to do, is at what point is my child? I guess where that's testing comes in. What point is my child? Do they know a little bit about what I said? Do I need to go back a level? And then you start. I think that's where that anxiety, where you like either give them the answer or you get on them. Like, what is that prompts you to get it? And I think that what prompts people to just like jump in there and give the answer is just like, I know my child. What level? What are they at? You know what I'm saying? It's like an unknown zone.
Well, there's like an insecurity there too, right? Like, if they don't get it, does that say something about me as their parent or about me as their teacher? Like, maybe I'm not doing a good job. I need to fill in this think time hole right here and like do a better job. But it's not about us in that moment. It's about them processing and learning and making mistakes. If he was wrong, what was that going to hurt? Like, nothing and no one. When we make mistakes, that's how we learn. So we really need to be okay with kids making mistakes in the actual learning environment.
But you still, but you was elated when he got that thing right, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Because I'm still
So what feelings should you have when they fail?
If he were to get it wrong, then that's just information. If he were to get it wrong, then I take that as information. Then I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to reframe. Because he did get it wrong first time. The first time he stacked those daggone dominoes up and attempted to make a whole... what is that called? When you stack them up and you tip them down and they all, cause an effect, like they all just topple
domino
down.
Fall.
Yeah, domino.
Domino effect. Whatever.
So he did do that, and I had to like pause and like, okay, let me reframe my question or say it to you in a different way, because even when you think about your own self as a thinker, you still have to. There are times when you need to approach something in a different way. Like maybe reading it the first time, you don't get it. So you have to ask somebody about it.
Well, that's what we talked about in the last episode. We ended on like knowing our kids' individual ways. And I think the conversation we had this morning when I got up and she shared with me was like, my first ring in my head when she told me the story was like, wow, we really need to learn how to observe our kids so we understand them better. We watch our kids, we do stuff while our kids are around, but how much time do we give to observe our kids and to really know them and how they think?
Yeah.
And I think that is a challenge, and I for me, I challenge myself is like, wow, how do I look at this scientifically? Like a scientist, when they're out and they just sit and observe someone, sit and observe behavior, and how can we get tools as parents or like that motivation to be like, yo, I need to look at them and observe them as their own person, and that will get to know my child. I think when I hear people like describe their child sometimes, it's just like, okay, those are like filler words. Like, do you really know your child, how they think?
I feel like we sometimes describe our child through our insecurities and through our lens, almost. Like, we want our kids to be the best. Everybody wants their kid to be the best. So, I don't know. Either.
Well, that'll be our next episode because we get running out of time. We ain't trying to take up only our time. All right.
And the wine and sleep is good.
And the wine and sleep is so. Happy quarantining, y'all, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Bye.